Good morning, you guys. It's day number 78 of my Staybatical to 50. This is my 100-day journey, changing my body, my mind, whatever else happens. Come on in, make yourselves at home. It's a whole lot of fun to get out here and talk to you on a daily basis. Well, daily as I come out here on my walk. I always bring you guys along for the ride. It's a lot of fun to share this journey with you, and we are well over 3/4 of the way through now. So happy I started this journey, if for no other reason than to prove to myself I am capable of doing something so monumental. And I think if we don't ever challenge ourselves to do the hard things, to do the things that might seem impossible, might seem out of reach, there's just some sense of accomplishment that comes from that. When you're able to do things that other people would not do. I have talked to many people who have been on a similar kind of journey, things like 75 Hard and some of these other journeys. And every one of them said, I didn't think I could ever do it until I did do it. And so that's the way I feel about this Staybatical to 50 journey. Is it something that maybe at the beginning I didn't really feel like I could probably do? And yet here we are. We're doing it. We're accomplishing it. And it's working out good. Good morning, guys. Hi. Good morning. So as I've been doing on all of these morning walk and talks is I have been sharing some kind of an inspirational message. Literally every single time I do this, somebody writes me in my DMs afterwards and says, how did you know I was thinking that? How did you know I was feeling that way? How did you know exactly what to say on the moment that I needed to say it? Some people, they just pop into my lives randomly. A lot of people on replay just finding my videos randomly. And they go, holy crap, where has this been? I'm a believer in you get the messages you need at the moment you need them. And so today I think is going to be one of those as well. Because I think this is very common what I'm going to talk about here today. And it's the whole idea of overthinking things. Are you one of those overthinkers? Are you one of those people that when you have a decision to make, when something is happening in your life, you tend to think and then rethink and then add new wrinkles to the think? And you think and think and think and think and think to the point that you become paralyzed into non-action. I know I just stepped on a whole bunch of toes with that statement. People do overthink things to the point that they never take any action at all. Because the processing, the analyzing, the risk-benefit analysis, it just doesn't seem worth it to them because they want to be 100% sure. And one thing I've learned in my life is you can't be 100% sure about literally anything. Which is why allowing yourself to think and rethink and overthink, it will paralyze you. That is an inevitability. And if it's inevitable that you're going to get paralyzed into inaction, then that tends to be the result. And so, are you overthinking things? You need to stop that. Like, that's the bottom line of what I'm going to say here today. Stop overthinking and just start doing. I was helping this lady last night with her business idea. I'm all the time offering business consulting to people. They're asking me about podcasting, of course, but they ask about like pricing, if they're trying to, do something where they're selling a product or a service. So I give help in that area. And I could tell she was way overthinking things. And she's like, well, if I do this and this and this, it should be this and this and this, but I should do this. I'm like, stop. You're overthinking. And as soon as you recognize that you're overthinking, and you take a more moderate approach, and you take a, maybe I should stop thinking, and I should start doing attitude. Because here's the thing. I think people overthink themselves into irrelevance, into killing their own dreams. Think about the people who say, I will start X when Y. I will start X. X could be a dream. I will start finding the job I always wanted. That could be something that you want. But then you say, when I feel like it's comfortable enough for me to leave my old job. And in that case, don't get me wrong, it is prudent to procure the new job, or at least have a plan for it before you leave the old one. But you get what I'm saying. You can overthink it and say, well, I've been at this new job for a very long time, or old job for a very long time. It's steady income. I'm not happy. It's not giving me fulfillment in my life, but it is a job. And so, you know you can be happier doing something else, but you choose not to because the comfortability of the old keeps you stuck, and that's the overthinking. You only look at the here and now. Whereas if you go a little forward thinking, you will see that it's overthinking to just stay where you are when you're miserable. And that applies in any part of your life. That's in relationships. That's in your career. That's in your health choices. It's so easy to hyperanalyze things to the point of paralysis. I tell people who start a keto diet and they go into all these things of complexities of the diet and everything. And I said, you are experiencing paralysis by over-analysis. And they do. I see it all the time. People just psych themselves out into, well, I'll do that when I get to this, and then this falls into place, I'll do that. You gotta just do. You gotta take that chance. You gotta take that step of faith and risk. And look, failure is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Although a lot of people act as if failure is the absolute worst thing. To me, the absolute worst thing is to be paralyzed into inaction by your failure to just calm down your thinking. I know we think we're being so cute in looking at all the possibilities and thinking things through, and don't get me wrong, thinking things through is the adult thing to do. It is very intelligent to want to look at possibilities. But at the end of the day, you've got to trust your gut instincts. You've got to trust your own abilities. And there's another breakdown in this. There are so many people that say, well, I can't, or I could never. And when I hear that phraseology, I always say, you know what? You're right. You're right. If you think you can't, and if you think you will never, you're already telling your subconscious what you want it to believe. But if you flip that and you say, I can and I will, and you go do the thing, you start doing the thing, watch what happens. You start, and maybe you start and you stumble a little bit. Okay, that's part of the process. Maybe you start and you don't see the results that you want in the period of time that you want. Okay, that's normal. That's going to happen. We put such a high expectation on the decisions in our life that when we make them, they're just resolute. They have to go a certain way or they're not even worth attempting. I call balderdash on that. I think most people are paralyzed into inaction. Hang on, there's a car turning. They are paralyzed into inaction because of the fear of the what if. Guys, I stopped worrying about what if a long time ago. Because what I found about what ifs is generally the what will never be. The vast majority of the what ifs that we have, they become the what will never be. It's these thoughts. And if there is a theme song of my walk and talks, it's how your head will fool you into believing things are real that really aren't. So many of those what if scenarios, they don't actually happen. But look what they did. They were so powerful to pause you right at the moment you needed to start doing and going and becoming. And I hate that for people because I feel like there's so much more potential in every single person. All of you right now, watching this live, watching the replay, you have potential to do incredible things. And you're being held back by your own disbelief in yourself, your own lack of confidence, your own not being able to see the capabilities that you have. And it's a common thing, so don't feel bad that you're the only one. I'd say the vast majority of people overthink things, overanalyze things, and they are paralyzed into inaction when all they need to do is start doing and going and becoming all the things they've ever dreamt of. I didn't become successful as a book writer until I wrote when I thought I had something to say. And I put it out there. In fact, I self-published 2 books before I got my major book deal. Because I believed in myself. I didn't buy into the, well, nobody cares what I have to say, or I'm not good enough, or if I'm good enough, a publisher will notice that and pick me up. I didn't let any of those things hold me back. I didn't overthink it. I just did. I went. And while it wasn't successful immediately, it eventually turned into success. And I wrote 7 books in 7 years with a major publisher. And I'm very proud of that. But it would have never happened had I continued to overthink the process and claim that I'm not worthy, that I'm not capable. You right there, you're capable. You, yeah, I'm looking at you. Don't make me call your name out. I'm looking at you. You are capable of way more than you give yourself credit for. And you don't allow yourself to just be in your thoughts but not be overwhelmed by your thoughts. So many people that get caught up in their own thinking and they allow the worst case scenarios to pop in their head. Since when is life always about the absolute worst possible thing? Yes, bad things happen, don't get me wrong. I've been through some. But bad things are not the norm. Neither are great things. People expect everything to be great and wonderful and perfect. And life's not like that either. Life is in those in-between moments. And it's in those in-between moments that you go, you become, you stop whining and complaining about why life is never more than what it is. And you go grab that bull by the horns and you go make life what it is. You do. You've got to be the one that takes ownership of that takes on the onus, that it's your responsibility. And wherever you are in your life today, I know you're overthinking things. I still find myself in that trap of overthinking. And when I feel that, you guys, I always remind myself, you know what? I have enough knowledge to make a decision to go do. And guess what? I go do. So if you're just joining us, we are on day number 78 of my Stay Radical to 50. My 100-day journey coming to a close here in a few weeks. Thank you for joining me. I do these walk and talks in the morning when I'm out on my walk. It's a little warmer here today in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I think it was 34 yesterday morning. Today it's about 48, so quite a bit warmer. And so out here on the Walk and Talk, I like to talk to you guys. So this is your turn to chime in with your thoughts about what I'm talking about here today. Are you an overthinker? Are you one of those people that you have to analyze and reanalyze and process and feel sure and certain before you take any action? If that's you, today's message is for you, because I'm imploring you to stop overthinking and to just start doing. When I consult people about starting a podcast, they're like, well, mine isn't as good as yours, Jimmy, so I can't compete. And I'm like, I have done this for over 15 years. I'm not expecting you to be great at day one. I'm not saying I'm great, but you can't possibly compare yourself to someone who's very seasoned and polished. You have to compare yourself to yourself and your abilities. Do you have a voice? Are you able to communicate? Do you have a topic that's interesting to people? Are you engaging? Do you make it fun? Those are the things that you focus on. And yet so many people don't start a podcast, for example, because they feel that inferiority complex. I don't get that. Jimmy started when nobody knew who he was. This is way back in 2006. I started podcasting. Nobody knew who I was, but I had a voice and I had something to say, and I started anyway. It would be so easy for me to say, well, I've never done anything like this before, but I didn't. I just went and did. I just started doing it. And in the starting of doing it, I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And now today, I'm the longest running health podcaster on the internet. I've been doing it longer than anybody else. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I took that step of faith when maybe I was thinking it and overthinking it. But at the end of the day, I made a decision to just go do. And here we are. Here we are. All right, I want to see what you guys have to say. What do you think about this? Chime in with your thoughts. Are you an overthinker? Tell me why you think you are an overthinker. What is it that makes you do that? And then, are you somebody who thought a lot about something and was commonly an overthinker, but then you decided to go do? How did that work out for you? What did you do? And then how did it feel once you accomplished the thing that you overthought? All right, we're gonna go back to the top, see what you guys have to say. Thanks for being here today on day 78. Can't believe it's 22 more days and this thing is done. Bulletproof coconut, go Jimmy. I see a snowflake, an ice, and a bathtub. So he's referring to, thank you for that, Bulletproof. He's referring to my new Morozco Forge. I got my ice tank in yesterday. The delivery truck drivers, they were hilarious. A couple of guys in their 60s. And they were busting my balls, busting each other's balls. It was fun. It's fun to meet people that have a joy for life. And it was kind of a comedy show of them trying to get that thing off their truck. It weighs 350 pounds. And they had a dolly and they were trying so hard to get it up on my back porch. It was a pretty open way, but they had to roll over grass that was soft. Yeah, it was kind of funny watching them. But we got it set up and I filled it up with water, plugged it in, and it got down overnight to 35 degrees in the tub. So it's nice and chilly. I got in there last night right before bedtime, about an hour or two before bedtime, and it was 45 at that point. It was cold. It was very cold. I was in there for 20 minutes though, so I felt pretty good that I was able to do 20 minutes. The only reason I got out was my feet were pretty numb from the cold, so I have a feeling my norm once I'm in there in the 30s, it's probably going to be about 5 to 10 minutes max, because the extremities get very cold very fast. But that's why I got that thing. I want the cold benefits What would be cool is if one of these days I get back from my walk and it's cold outside like it is today, my ears are really frigid, and then get in to the cold. I wonder if my body would be more acclimated, because last night I went from the hot tub over to the cold water. So I wonder if that made a difference. In fact, I was so cold coming out of the Morozco Forge, I went inside and I was talking to a friend on the phone, and I was like, I'm cold. I couldn't stop shivering. So I popped in my hot tub and warmed back up again. So feels good. Eating clean keto says my brain never shuts up. Well, your brain can be on. And mine is too, as you guys well know. My brain is constantly processing, analyzing. But one of the things that keeps me from overthinking eating clean is I don't let thoughts rule me. I don't let the thoughts be what I automatically believe. The thoughts are there. It's like I'm having a conversation in my head with myself about things. The thoughts are there and I'm like, hadn't thought of that before. Thinking about it now. Okay, that's interesting. And it's just information. I think where you get into trouble is where it becomes more than just information. And it encompasses you. That's the overthinking part. Where you feel like what you think is what you believe is what you should do or what you should not do. And it leads you down this path of indecisiveness, paralyzed into not taking action when you just should just go. So I'm right there with you though. My brain never shuts down either. And I'm okay with that. It makes me good at what I do. Good morning, Sharon. Sharon says, does being a worrywart count too? Ugh. Yes, it does. Because what is worry? Worry is overthinking things that 99.99999% of the time never come to pass, Sharon. And you've lived enough life, my dear. You know that already. So if you have a cognizant knowledge that the things you think about and worry about and have on your mind probably don't ever happen. Yes, a few of them do. And that's when your brain goes, aha, see, I warned you. But most of those thoughts, and we have literally tens of thousands of thoughts a day. And most of those thoughts are repeated. So I think it was Ben Azadi talked about having like 50,000 thoughts a day. I don't remember the exact statistic. But he said 50,000 thoughts a day, whatever the number is, and 80% of them is about the same thing. That's that overthinking mind. That's that worry-wart mentality. And that's where your brain processes yourself into being paralyzed into inaction. And look, it's okay to have thoughts. It's okay to think things through. It's okay to still have some doubts even when you do start doing and going and accomplishing and becoming all the things. You're going to have doubts. Look, I went full time on my own doing all the things I do now. I took that chance. October of 2006, I'd been blogging for about a year and a half at that point and was getting a lot of attention. And I thought, okay, I want to give this a go to do more. And I could have overthought it and said, well, that's crazy. I'm leaving a perfectly good job. I need steady income. I need this. I need that. But at the end of the day, I believed in myself. And I knew I was capable of so much more. So what was the first thing I did when I decided to go full time with Living La Vida Low Carb? I started a podcast, which is now called the Living La Vida Low Carb Show, with 1,800 episodes and counting. And I showed no signs of slowing that down. Had I overthought that, I would still be working in a mundane, boring job, frustrated in my life, not making near the money that I could make. And, oh hush, no sense in barking at me. These dogs, they kill me on this walk. And And I never would have experienced all that I've been able to experience. I wouldn't be talking to you guys today, at least not from this capacity. Things happen for your good when you follow your heart and do things and stop overanalyzing and overthinking things. I know how easy it is, guys, so don't get me wrong. I realize it's a challenge, but it's a challenge worth doing. Go get 'em. Good morning, Linda. Thanks for being here. Bulletproof Coconut, I've experienced a lot of overthinking in my life, and it connects with OCD, perfectionism, and guilt. Yes, thank you for mentioning those things. So, my best friend Brittany is a type 1 Enneagram, and she is a perfectionist and a half. I have helped to break her of some of that, but it is something that she still battles. We're currently writing a book together, and in the book she's so concerned about something not being perfect, and we're still in the manuscript phase. It's not like we're finishing up the book and that's when you want it to look as good as you can. We're still just in the writing phase, the manuscript phase. And she's like, oh, but I misspelled a word. Oh, I gotta take it back. I'm like, no, we'll catch those things later. But her brain can't let her process that it's okay to leave that for now. So I'm teaching her, when you're writing a book, you're gonna have a lot of mess ups in the first round. It's the 100th round of reading it and rereading it and rewriting that you try to catch all those things. And we're not there yet. So yes, she has a little bit of that too. And yeah, there is guilt there. There is guilt about making a decision, because what if I make the wrong decision? And then you go into doing something, you're like, oh, it's not going well. Oh, see, I was right to be overthinking and da-da-da. And we fool ourselves into thinking those things are real. No, they're all a part of the process. You're going to have those doubtful moments, even if you start to go do. See, I should have trusted. I needed to think more. And again, let me be very clear. Please think before you take action. That's not what this is about. Thinking is fine. Overthinking, overanalyzing, becoming so encompassed with all the weight of the world of the decision you're going to make about whatever it is in your life that you're overthinking. That's what's bad. That's what I think leads people down paths that does not end well for them. And that's why I'm doing this talk here today. Del Norte, I go for a run, then I don't give a shit after. So when you're overthinking, you go out for a run. That's funny, because that's exactly what Brittany does too, my friend Brittany. So she says when she runs, she doesn't really think about anything. But when she's idle at home, her brain is going crazy. I don't know if that's a type 1 Enneagram thing. I don't know what that is, but it works for her. And it's the same thing, Del Norte. She'll come back from the run and go, oh, well, what was I thinking about? Oh, never mind. And she moves on with her life. And it clears the mind. So I love that you said that. Thank you. Sharon says, Linda and I have talked. We want to know if you make house calls. Well, I will happily talk to you on the phone anytime. You know how to find me. I don't hide. Kira says, I think the reason I had success on my own journey is because I didn't really think about it. There you go. I didn't even know I was starting a health journey. There's no time for me to think or overthink. I was in survival mode to breathe. Yes, that is so true. A lot of people, when they start a health journey, they're in such bad shape that literally you just go and you start doing on instinct. I think you think about it in that context, you could die. You could get worse in the process. And I don't think that's a desirable outcome for anybody. And maybe that's how you break yourself of the overthinking. Not literally think you're going to die or get worse, but just realize that inaction is basically telling yourself that what you're doing now is okay. And obviously, if you're thinking about taking action and you're indecisive about it, you obviously know action needs to be taken. So by being paralyzed into inaction because you overthink, you're actually telling yourself, you know what, I'm okay where I'm at. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not true, but how do you know? And then when nothing happens to change, you're in that same situation that has you wanting to change, and you're right back to thinking and overthinking again. It's this death spiral. And that death spiral does not end well for you. The only way you break that is to take a chance and go start doing. I hope this is resonating today, because I just feel like so many people are missing out on the gloriousness of their lives. All at the holy altar of, I'm comfortable. This is too risky for me to take a chance. I've thought it through and it just doesn't make sense. Okay, that's great. But where are you going to be in a few months when you're right back at this same miserable place? You can't expect change to happen until you yourself change. Change doesn't just spontaneously happen. Things don't just swoop in and get better. That's not the norm. The norm is you have to be the agent of change. And that means think about it, process it, but then go and do, become what you were meant to be. That's what we all desire. Miss Lady Smith says, my general practitioner told me I'd be dead by 50. I spent 4 weeks researching. I acted on it. And now I'm turning 50 in 12 days. Hey, 50-year-old club. My web guy, Hank, who's on here today. Hi, Hank. It's his 50th birthday today. 2021 is the year of the 50-year-olds, apparently. And yeah, that's amazing. Your doctor told you that. I guess it indirectly motivated you. 180 pounds lighter, and now I've got things to look forward to celebrate in life. Congratulations. That is amazing. That is really, really amazing. You should be very proud of yourself. And yeah, had you kept thinking, you might be dead today. I'm glad you're not. Way to go. Parkman says, Jimmy, what up? What up, Parkman? Tiffany says, overthinking and imposter syndrome has kept me from following my dreams. Girl, you are not alone. And I was paralyzed by that for many years. Some of it from my trauma, kind of being told I wasn't going to amount to anything. And so I believed it for a very long time. And I remember in my 20s, post-trauma, having all those thoughts of I'm not good enough. But at the same time, I was like, why does my brain always think of ideas? Whatever job I was at. Like, I was very good at looking at things and processing and coming up with good ideas. And I was thinking, why doesn't anybody notice that? I notice it. I know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table. But nobody in any of the employers that I worked for, nobody cared. I had the opportunity and I applied for, excuse me. Hey guys. I thought I heard somebody behind me. Hey. So I applied for many jobs, and one of them was a marketing job with a pretty big corporation here in Spartanburg. And I thought, you know what, I've got the mind for it. And I didn't get the job. Partly because I didn't have any background in marketing educationally, which I respect. They want somebody that has that, but I had a marketing brain that I knew would help them, but they didn't see it in me. And so that never left me. So when I decided to leave the traditional workforce and go to work for myself in 2006, full time, I knew I had capability. I had seen it. And even though nobody else saw it, I saw it. And it would be easy for me to overthink that and say, well, nobody else sees it, Jimmy. What makes you think you're capable? If you were truly capable, somebody else would have seen it. You would have already had a marketing job. It didn't happen. But I bucked that anyway because I believed in me enough. And so believe in yourself. Believe what your gut tells you. Those instincts are there for a reason. Use them. Here it says, back when I was sugar addicted, I was so worried about things that sometimes I would forget about what I was worried about. Woo! Been there, done that, Kira. But the feel of worry was still there. I just did not know what I was worried about. You know what? That is a great segue into a thought I've had on this that I haven't shared yet. What are you worried about? Do you know? Those of you that worry about things and are overanalyzing things, overthinking things, what is it that's got you hung up? And you ask most people and they're like, I don't know. I just don't feel right. Okay, that's cool. It doesn't feel right. But there's got to be some empirical knowledge that's guiding that. And if you can't pinpoint that, you got to let that shit go. Like Kira, I'm sure that was frustrating for you. Going, now wait a minute. I have the feeling of worry, but I don't know why. So if you don't know why, let it go. Seems so elementary, right? But I don't understand worrying about things that have not come to pass or just are figments of your imagination. And maybe the original thing could have been something you were worried about, but then your brain resolved it, and yet you thought, okay, I've been in the worry state for so long, you become comfortable there. And there are a lot of people like that too. They worry themselves into it becoming who they are. And so if it's who you are, who you're going to be, if you stop worrying, you feel like you've lost a part of yourself. And maybe overthinkers are the same way. Maybe you overthink things because that's been your norm for most of your life. And when you overthink, and as Sharon said, be a worrywart, and that becomes kind of your identity, if you veer away from that, you feel like you're losing a part of yourself. As messed up as that sounds, as unhealthy of a relationship to yourself of worrying and overthinking is, maybe you stay there because it's what you know. It's what you're comfortable with, it's a discomforting comfort, if that makes sense. You're comforted by the discomfort because that comfort is familiar to you. And shifting away from that is scary. Woo, we're going deep today, you guys. Thank you for that. And Tiffany says, there's no change going to happen in your comfort zone. Yes. What a perfect comment right after what I just said. No change will ever happen in that comfort zone. The comfort zone is a trap. We think comfort zone means happy, content, things are going well. Comfort zone is the eye of the storm. Comfort zone is right in the middle of all the chaos in your life. And yes, you get a little bit of reprieve from getting impacted by the storms of life, but you kind of have to walk through that storm to get to a better place and to see that change you want. But we like staying right there in the eye of the storm, don't we? Because it's comfortable. Bulletproof says, my health forced me to not give in to guilt and overthinking. I used to binge just because I wasn't perfect for the day. Ooh, a lot of people like that. But when you do that 100 times, the binging adds up. Yes. Yeah, and then there's guilt from the binge. And then you're like, well, see, I knew I couldn't do it, so I guess I should eat whatever I want and not pursue health. It is a ruthless cycle when you get on that. But good for you getting off of that bulletproof. Del Norte says, fear is paralyzing. Yes, the fear of failure, the fear of messing up, the fear of not achieving whatever it is that you're going for, that keeps people from getting the dreams of their heart. If you can't get past that fear of whatever is in your life, you can't get past the fear, don't complain that you never get anywhere in your life. Don't complain that you see other people getting their dreams and you never get yours. Stop being paralyzed. That's what this stopping the overthinking is all about. And just start doing. That's what this is all about today. Let go of the paralysis by overanalysis and go live your life. Life is worth living. There's a lot to live for. If you got hopes and dreams in your heart, and Jimmy Moore definitely does, in every sector of my life. I got hopes and dreams for my career, which have been great so far, but they can be even greater. I got hopes and dreams for a love relationship in my life. I got hopes and dreams for friendships and other kinds of relationships. Lots of stuff that motivate me. And if I overthought any of them, I wouldn't get any of them. When you overthink things, you never get the thing that you're overthinking about. Let that sink in. When you overthink things, you never really get the things that you're thinking about too much. It's prophetic. It's inevitable. Man, this topic's got me fired up today. I hope you guys are feeling that. I just feel like we think ourselves into nothingness. I don't know about you. I don't want my life to be nothing. I want it to mean something. I want it to impact other people and impact myself. Kind of leave a legacy. How cool would it be if all of us pursued our lives to leave a legacy to others? So after I'm long gone, that legacy continues on in other people who are then also not overthinking, and they're doing and they're living out their dreams. I know that's a little pie in the sky, but that's the way my brain works. That's my philosophy on life. Kira says, 1971, baby, here. Yay for the 50-year-olds. Yes, Hank turns 50 today. I turned 50 December 27th. What was funny was I had some friends that wanted to throw me a birthday party on my birthday down in Miami, Florida. And they're like, invite people. And I'm like, ain't nobody gonna come 2 days after Christmas? What are you, crazy? Thank you, but it'll be the 3 or 4 of us. And while that's great and all, no. So I'm planning on doing a birthday bash, my 50th birthday bash, in like January. I don't have any details on that yet, but I would like to do it in, say, late January, since it'll be better timing for people. And we'll invite you guys in too if you want to come. Probably near the Atlanta area, just so it's easy to fly into. But details forthcoming, so stay tuned. Miss Lady Smith says, my main worry is always what others think of me. Why? Why do you give a shit what anybody thinks about you? Let me tell you a little secret, Miss Lady. I would not have lasted 17 years in the online space with all the hate and vitriol and ugliness that has been spewed in my direction. I would not have lasted if I listened to what others think of me. I have had some of the most vile, vicious, ugly things said about me. And I don't mean about my work. I mean about me as a man, as a person. There's some ugly stuff out there on the internet. And so if I let all of that, what they think about me, bother me, I'd have been gone a long time ago. I've come to realize that thoughts that people share about you is not actually about you at all. It's all about them, their insecurities, their issues in their life. And so I actually have a heart for people that lash out at me. I don't see it personally because you can't. They don't know who you are. There's about 3 or 4 people in my life that if they say something to me and they think a certain way about me, I will listen to them. My mom and my sister, my best friend Brittany, maybe a couple other people, but not many. Most people who say things about me, I'm like, okay, sorry you're going through a tough time in your life that you lash out at someone like me. That's not about me. So I don't take it personally. I believe in myself and my abilities, but people can be cruel. Yes, they are cruel, but just because they say things does not make them true. And just because they say things does not mean you need to take them personally. If I could impart one set of wisdom on people who are hesitant, and you're not the only one, by the way, Miss Lady Smith, I have thrown out there that people should put themselves out there, and other people have expressed similar thoughts to what you just shared. And I've always said, look, you go do your thing. And look, in the light of all those things that are said about Jimmy Moore online, what does Jimmy do? I keep smiling. I keep pumping out content. I do 4 podcasts a week. I do all these walk-in talks on video. I'm writing books. They have not stolen my shine. Jimmy is going to do what he's got to do. Head down. I got a bigger purpose in life. And some pissant person on the internet is not going to discourage me from doing what I was called to do. That's what keeps me going. And so if you start and you get some of that, celebrate. Because if you're having no impact, nobody will hate you or love you. You'll be ignored. You'll be irrelevant. But if you start getting people that hate on you, congratulations, you have arrived. That is your standard bearer for knowing you're making a difference, finally making a difference when you get that hate. At first, it took me aback. I started getting them on YouTube videos circa 2005, 2006. I was doing a YouTube channel before my podcast. And I would get some of the ugliest comments. I'm going, I'm just talking about low-carb diets. Why are they so mad at me? I didn't realize at the time they were mad at themselves. They weren't happy with themselves. And I just became the scapegoat for their feelings. When you look at it through that prism, it changes the perspective, doesn't it? Everything about how you take those comments suddenly shifts away from you and onto them, and you have pity for them. That's what helps me. Hope that helps you. Kira says, it's the devil, you know, the comfort of saying and the comfort of familiar. Yes. Yes. People love that devil they know. And they're very comfortable knowing that things are a certain way. And trust me, I got caught in that. I had a major decision I had to make over 2 years ago. And I stayed in that indecisiveness about it because I kept analyzing the comfortability of what it was, even though I was not happy and it wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. And what really helped me was I looked forward in life. If I stay on this path of comfort, how long would it stay comfort before it became misery? And in my mind, I had already been in the misery state. I had already entered the misery, but I was still fooling myself into thinking it was comfortable. And so I took action. I went and started doing. And now looking back on that decision, it's the best thing I could have done. Because I'm in a better place now. Because I took that action. I stopped overthinking it. And that was a decision that took many years of thinking and analyzing. So you're going to have those moments, guys. And it's when you take action that you see the fruition of all that thinking. serving you well. But let's say I overthought it and overthought myself into inaction. Today, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'd be a lot more miserable and possibly dead. So that's sobering to think about. Yes. So day number 78, you guys, of my Staybatical to 50. We're talking about a topic here today. Stop overthinking and just start doing. It's been a great, engaging conversation. If you came in late, definitely watch the replay of this one because I think this is the best walk and talk I've had. Bulletproof Coconut says, you are succeeding when you have the critics. Yes. Critics do not mean you're doing something wrong. They mean you're doing something very, very right. I love reading the reviews of Keto Clarity on Amazon. If you have time, go entertain yourself by looking at the reviews of Keto Clarity, my book, Keto Clarity. Because look at the 5 stars and then look at the 1 stars. And it's funny, the polarization of people saying, oh, this is the best book on introducing keto. I'm glad I read it. I have a better understanding of it. And thank you, Jimmy. It was very well written. I could understand, blah, blah, blah. Then you'd have somebody in the 1 star go, what a waste of time. This author knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just a fat slob trying to make money off you. Beware. And it's like polar opposites. In my second book, which you can get on Amazon, this is my second self-published book. It's called 21 Life Lessons from Living La Vida Low Carb. It's available. It's a big, thick book that I wrote, self-published. It actually sold 10,000 copies. And so that kind of got me noticed by a publisher, a major publisher who let me write books for them. So in that book, I have 2 chapters. When you put yourself out there, people will love you is one of the chapters. And it's about all the people who talk about how you changed their life. You've given them good information and they want to show their appreciation to you. Cool. The next chapter, when you put yourself out there, people will hate you. And I talk about all the haters and how, and this was 2009. I'd only been online for, 3 or 4 years at that point. And there was such vitriol even then. And here in 2021, I'd say it's about 100 times worse than that than when I wrote that book. But it's so true. You will have the critics when you start succeeding. So you just have to know that going into it. If you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to get both. I would say the preponderance of it is good. And I hate those people that say, well, you get a negative comment, most of it's good, and that's true. But you have to know that the power of a negative spoken word hits some people pretty hard. And so I'm cognizant of that there are people who they don't take ugliness and criticism of them, especially when it's unfounded criticism, very well. And they take it personally, which is why the online world, I love you guys and I know some of you personally, but if somebody says something ugly to me, I'm like, okay, you don't know who I am. I mean, I share pretty openly and people feel like they know who I am, and I try to be that way. Who I am on video with you guys here, anybody that's met me will say, oh wow, you're the exact same way. Well, yeah, I don't pretend to be something I'm not. But people are shocked by that. And so because of that connection, people think they can say things to you because they think they know you. You know a part of Jimmy, you don't know all of Jimmy. Brittany, my best friend, knows all of Jimmy. My family knows all of Jimmy. A few other people know a lot about Jimmy. But most people that follow me online have no idea who I am, all of me. And that's the way it should be. We shouldn't have a million people know all the intimate details of everything about you. Which is why I don't take it to heart when people say ugly things. They don't know the real me, because if they did, they would know how asinine their comments really are. Miss Lady says, thank you for sharing your perspective. I'm feeling inspired. Well, good. I have done my job for the day. Mission accomplished. Good morning. It's a beautiful day, says Snoochie. Yes, it is here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's actually upper 40s, so good 10-15 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Sunshine, I got all the greenery around me. I love this little walk. Very beautiful. So I'm going on a trip this afternoon, so I have a podcast on someone else's podcast. I'm a guest on their show at 1 o'clock. And then as soon as I'm done talking to her, I will hit the road. I'm going to visit a friend of mine, and I will be gone all day tomorrow. So no walk and talk tomorrow. I will take that as a rest day tomorrow. And then Friday morning, I drive back home. So I won't be home, I don't think, at this normal time that I go do my walk and talk. I will go and walk when I get back on Friday. So if I can leave early enough and get back in time, I will try to come on as soon as I can. But it may not be 7:30 or 8 o'clock like I normally do. Or it could be. We'll just play it by ear. But when you don't see me tomorrow, don't worry about me. I'm still here. Just taking a day of rest while I'm traveling. So wish me luck as I do all the travel. Kira says, people hate me too. I'm in good company. Yay, us. Yes. Look, when you're outspoken, and Jimmy is very outspoken, and Kira, so are you, very outspoken, that will polarize some people. And of course, because I don't look the part of a health guru or whatever, oh, what do you have to say, you fat ass? And it's like, okay, you feel better about yourself. A lot of people do. Bringing you down is the way they lift themselves up. And what I tell people, they complain about my podcasting or whatever. All right, go show me how to podcast. If you don't think I do it well, you go show me how it's done. Oh, great Jedi Master. Never mind, I have over a decade and a half of experience, but you tell me how to do it. Or I've written 9 books and I'm working on my 10th. Your writing is so boring. I'm like, somebody likes it. Somebody likes it and connects with it and appreciates it. That's who I'm writing for. But go show me how you write. If you can do it better, show me. That shuts them up real fast. Bulletproof coconut. Hopefully I have credits one day. Yes. One day, my brother, one day. Safe travels. Thank you for that, Snoochie and Sharon. I'm looking forward to getting away for a day and a half. It'll be nice. I think we can get stuck in a rut, being in the same routine all the time. So, not me. Not going to do that. But guys, day 78. Rocking and rolling. Thanks for joining me on this walk and talk today. As always, pop over to my website, livinlavidalowcarb.com/staybatical. See all the past episodes of the walk and talks. Or if you use the hashtag StayBatical50 over on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you will find the videos. So go check them out. Thanks for joining me here today, and we'll see you guys on Friday. Bye, guys.